Just 2 games into the new Premier League season and there's managers under pressure already. Some Manchester United fans have had enough and want to see Ruben Amorim sacked. Some West Ham United fans have seen enough and want to see Graham Potter sacked. And who knows what's going to happen at Nottingham Forest with Nuno, Edu and Maracanakas. But what I do know is I'm looking forward to discussing all the talking points from the Premier League weekend with you. But if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and also do drop a like on it by clicking the thumbs up. This Scotsman that chats nonsense appreciates your support. Now let's start with Craven Cottage. And for the first 3 minutes, man, you look fantastic. They looked all right for the first 10-15 minutes. But then Fulham sort of figured it out, grew into the game and sort of stopped most of the threat that Man U had. I think a draw was a fair outcome in the end. And I think this game sort of... Man U played well against Arsenal, but I think when Man U played well, it was when Cunha and Bomo did something individual. And yesterday at Craven Cottage, when Man U looked dangerous, it was usually Cunha doing something individual. Now, he should have scored. He went close with a long-range effort. He had another shot that got tipped round the post. But that one long ball from Bender that put him through on goal, essentially. Incredible first touch. Insane first touch. But he should be scoring that one. However, it felt a little bit Cunha FC for Man U for the first 10 minutes. And once Fulham figured that out and stopped him, and I think he fizzled out the game pretty quickly, they looked relatively comfortable, Fulham. Now, in terms of the goals, I ain't having this as a pen. I'm not having it. I think, listen, does Calvin Bassey throw Mason Mount to the deck? Yes. Is that a foul on its own? Yes. But I find it difficult to ignore what's going on behind Calvin Bassey, which is Luke Shaw bundling Moonies to the ground as well. There's 2 fouls going on, in my opinion. Now, I appreciate they are trying to clamp down on defenders grappling like that in the box. So, letter of the law, is it a penalty? Yes. But I don't know. Didn't really sit right with me. And I think it's more my lack of faith and consistency. Do I think that's going to be given as a penalty every time it happens? No, I don't. And that's where I have a bit of an issue. Anyway, Bruno Fernandes, I mean, that guy's just... Him and Cucurella are the 2 players in the Premier League that really annoy me. I don't know why, just everything about them. Their attitude, their face, Cucurella's hair, there's just... I want to throttle them. I don't like them, right? Good footballers, I can appreciate them as a footballer, but just them, I don't know, personality, the character, I'm not a fan. So when I seen Bruno Fernandes blaze over, I was delighted. But just whinging, yes, the referee trod on you. Yes, it's a bit inconvenient. But just get on with it. Just shrug it off, keep your head, and put the penalty away. But he didn't. He got pissed off for no reason. He was all pent up, full of rage, and just smashed it over the bar. It's just ridiculous, especially from one of the most experienced players in the squad and the captain. And he went on to have an absolute stinky game, Fernandes did. Some nice passes and touches here and there for sure. But when I seen Amorim making the subs, I thought, he's got to take Bruno off. And he didn't. And the same last week. I thought he got his subs wrong against Arsenal. I think he got his subs wrong again against Fulham yesterday. And I think sometimes in football, fans, I include myself in this, we can be guilty of just assuming a sub equals improvement. Like, your team's not doing well, so you make a sub, and there's almost a bit of an assumption that that guy that comes on is going to improve the team. May not happen, but what we do know, and when we say that, I think we're also saying we can't keep doing what we're doing. We need to change something. But I think sometimes we can have a bit of an assumption it's going to make a positive impact, and some subs can. You look at Nottingham Forest. Well, Fulham actually. Fulham subs made a big impact, didn't they? I say Nottingham Forest because I'm pretty sure it came up during their game saying that their subs had scored the most goals, or Fulham, then Forest. I can't remember. When you look at the Forest bench anyway, their subs are going to be scoring goals this season. But anyway, regardless, back to it. Amorim subs make Man U worse. Their goal, Man U's goal, I'm not having that either. I'm not having it. You can't punish Calvin Bassey. And I'm not saying it's comparable. Bassey threw Mount over. Lenny Yodel pushed Calvin Bassey. But that's 2 hands on the back. It makes a significant difference. And I'm quite often pro physicality in the box. I think it's a man's game. Allow it to be physical. Get on with it. But there's pushing, then there's like nudging, right? That was a push for me. Didn't think that goal should have stood. Now, before I move on to the next game, often on the channel we'll discuss things that just can't happen in football. John McGinn leaving Aston Villa. Can't happen. Needs to be banned. Needs to be a law that John McGinn stays at Aston Villa. Anderson shaving his hair. No, I'm not having that. I don't like shaving head Anderson at Fulham. No, 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 no. He needs to grow that hair back immediately. When I seen him, I was like, who's that? And then it was Anderson. I was like, oh, he's shaved his hair off. I'm not having it. It looks weird. It doesn't look right. Anderson, if you're watching this, grow your hair. In terms of sacking Amorim, I'll never ever tell a fan what they can and can't think. I'm quite the opposite. I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-opinion. Think what you want. It's important. I can see why they want him sacked. Yeah, 100%. I think the only danger they've got is they're going to spend 200 million or something. So they kind of need to give it a little look and see what he can do. But ultimately, his record at Man United since he joined is horrific. They've not won a game back-to-back in the Premier League. It's terrible. He's under pressure. He should be under pressure. I completely understand why Man U fans are saying, this ain't good enough. This guy's got to go. Because last year, you could say, well, he's not got his players. This year, well, they've backed him with Sesko, with Mbomo, with Cunha. Now, Mount played well against Arsenal. I thought he did okay against Fulham as well. But you look at Arsenal and Man U, Gyökeres, no pre-season, straight in, get fit, work it out. Man U, Sesko has a pre-season, sitting on the bench. That would frustrate me if I was a Man U fan. Right, moving from one Manchester team to the next, which is Man City 0, Spurs 2. Damn. Spurs were good. Spurs are going to be good under Thomas Frank. I was always confident Thomas Frank would make a positive impact at Tottenham. Now, what's important here is Thomas Frank's Brentford did all right against Pep's Man City. So it's not like Frank's lost every game against Pep, gone to Spurs and won a game, right? That's not happened here. We spoke about it in the preview show. I think it was something like the last 5 games Thomas Frank had won 2, drawn 1, lost 2 against Pep or something. His record against Pep is not bad, right? So this is a manager thing as much as a Tottenham thing. Saying that, Tottenham often go to the Etihad and do well. So it's almost like a match made in heaven for this game. I thought Spurs were very impressive. I thought tactically they were spot on. I think pretty much every player put in a good performance. And it just works. How they play is just working. Now, Man City missed a couple of big opportunities. The goal they conceded, the second goal, was self-inflicted. So there are issues there on the City side of thing. But Pep got it wrong. When that team come out, I couldn't have been the only one that looked at it and thought, bloody hell, that's a bit attacking, isn't it, against this Spurs side? With Reinders and Cherki playing just in front of Gonzalez, and then they had Marmoush, Haaland and Oscar Bob. I thought, wow, this is attacking. And I was a little bit concerned for them. Tottenham deserved that. That was a very, very impressive performance. And the worst thing is, I've seen Tottenham play 2 games now under Thomas Frank, and I've been thoroughly impressed in both games. Yes, they lost on pens to PSG. There was a lot of positives to take from that one. 2-0 Tottenham. They win again next week. When we do the international break, I'm going to do another Premier League predictions because we've seen stuff now. We've got some evidence, not just vibes. I might be nudging them up a little bit. Right, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, the El Clasico. I like that one. I never came up with it. A Nottingham Forest fan told me. I did my preview, and I called it we should be in the Europa League, not you, Derby. It doesn't really roll off the tongue very easily, does it? But someone said, oh, we are calling it, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace fans, we're calling it the El Clasico. I'm all for that. Love it. The banner that went up in the Crystal Palace end before the game with Maracanakis holding a gun to Gibbs White's head, all the chanting. Love it. That's the kind of stuff I like in football. This is the game I watched. I'll always tell you which games I've watched up until now. I've watched them all. Because West Ham, we play Nottingham Forest next week. So that's why I opted to watch this game rather than the Everton game. KG affair. I thought both teams had spells where they were the better team. I think Crystal Palace was the better team for 10 minutes, and it was Nottingham Forest, and there's Palace. I think the swing of the game, the pendulum was going at it. And I thought Crystal Palace were better than I expected. I watched them on Thursday in the Conference League against a team I can't remember. And it was a bit bland. It was very boring. I struggled to watch it, if I'm honest with you. But it's my job watching football, talking about football. I know, but it is, right? So I watched it and I thought, no, I need to watch this. I'd be lying if I didn't watch him. Get a little bit worried for Crystal Palace without Eze, because the statistics came up yesterday during the game with and without Eze, and the points difference is just remarkable. Like, I think they'd won 6 and 36 without him or something like that. It's not great. The record without him is not great. And it's another game that they've not won. But I thought they gave a good account of themselves. They're just screaming out for new players. Whoever Glasner wants, they've got to go get them for him, because he's a really good manager. This team is really well drilled, and you can see that. But my word, they're just lacking in depth now. Nottingham Forest is the complete opposite. Their bench was disgusting. When that team come out and you look at their bench, James McAtee, Omari Hutchinson, just oozing jealousy. Honestly, I was like, ugh, I want this at West. I want that bench at West Ham. I think they had some good periods in the game. All things considered with everything going on away from the pitch at Nottingham Forest, I think it's a difficult situation for Nuno. I thought Ndoye was a bit poor. I thought he had a very quiet game. I'd be surprised if he starts against West Ham next Sunday. Imagine Hutchinson or the other player I've just mentioned, McAtee. I'd imagine one of them might come in for him. But in regards to Nuno, I don't have much thoughts on it, to be honest with you, because I can relate to it as a West Ham fan. And it's a difficult situation for all involved. Madakanakis won't be enjoying this, Edu won't be enjoying this, and Nuno won't be enjoying this. No one's having fun. No one's thinking, this is a great situation to be in. It's a bit, I don't know, Nottingham Forest fan, I'd imagine it's a bit sad, because everything's been going so good for the club. You've got a Europa League campaign coming up this season, invested well in the summer, been the managers now at loggerheads, and he's been quite open about the fact that he might leave. Now, he has reiterated he won't resign, but he might get sacked, kind of thing. And I don't think he's asking to get sacked. I actually think he's just being honest, and I've got a lot of time for that. I think too many managers are not honest these days. So whenever a manager speaks out for whatever reason, I'm all for it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's good. Having that honesty, having that dialogue, that communication directly to your fan base, I think it's really important. Now, I can't speak for Forest fans. If there's any watching, I'll be interested to know. But I feel like Nuno being honest might sort of, say, win them over. I think they might have been on Team Nuno anyway, but I don't know. I think I'd respect it a lot and appreciate it a lot if I was a Forest fan. Right, London Stadium, West Ham 1, Chelsea 5. We were crap, scored a screamer with Paqueta, and then we forgot how to defend. I forget how to defend. That's being kind. That suggests we know how to defend in the first place in order to forget it. We're just terrible. We're absolutely terrible. We're playing the back 3/back 5. There's got to be a benefit to that, which is your defence is pretty solid. You don't concede much goals. We conceded 8 goals in 3 halves of football now against Sunderland, the second half against Sunderland, and then Chelsea. It is absolutely shocking. The players, as soon as we concede, the heads drop. I'm very concerned. Very, very concerned. What do I want to happen? I wouldn't be upset if Potter left today. I think the board need to either back him or sack him, and not neither. And by that, I mean either sack him now and get a new guy in while you've still got a week of the transfer window, or you say to him, right, who do you want? And we're going to go get him for you. We're going to go get your players so that this season, it's on you. If we fail, it's on you. But at the minute, I don't think he's had that. I think he's had neither. I think it's a halfway house. I don't think they're sacking him, and I don't think they're backing him. That's a very, very dangerous thing to do, and that spells trouble, and that's my biggest concern. That the transfer window will shut next Monday, and our squad won't be good enough, and our manager is not good enough. No one wants that. Arsenal 5, Leeds 0. I think they were just outclassed. Leeds just outclassed. A lot of effort, a lot of huffing and puffing. Made it as difficult as it could for Arsenal early doors. But once the first one went in, it's sort of a set-piece FC rock up, don't they? I mean, just you can, as a manager, you can get your tactics spot on against Arsenal, but when you concede a corner, you're sort of potentially doomed, aren't you? I think Man U were excellent against Arsenal, got done by a corner. Leeds were coping with Arsenal. Boom, done by a corner. So the manager can do as much as he can and much as he wants. And if he gets it right, that's brilliant. It gives you a chance. But if the set piece guy ain't done his bit, then you're in trouble. And the header from Timber is just outstanding. Honestly, that is a world-class header. To shift his body like that, and the gap to put the ball in was so narrow, it just fitted out an inch to the right or left and doesn't hit the back of the net. It's just outstanding by Timber. But I think once it was 1-0, I think Arsenal was in cruise control a little bit. Raya wasn't really tested that much. And this isn't going to determine Leeds' season. This isn't Leeds. This is a game they can just write it off. They can say, all right, we've been smashed by Arsenal. But we beat Everton last week. Let's not worry about it. Let's move on to next week. I don't think this is a reflection of Leeds' scoreline. Personally, I wouldn't worry about it if I was a Leeds fan. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be pleased. Gyökeres scoring. He needs a moment, doesn't he? I always think players, when they join, especially big signings, they just need a moment. Now, Jack Grealish had his yesterday, and that's something Sesko hasn't had yet. He's not had a moment. Gyökeres started again, and then he missed that big chance quite early on, didn't he? Where he's just panicked. He's just assumed there's players around him and swiped at it and got it all wrong. Now, if Gyökeres doesn't go on to score in that match, or Arsenal don't win that match, that picture of Gyökeres on the deck flicking it past the post is on the back pages about how the expensive striker struggled, how he failed to score, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't. He went on to score a really good individual goal. Then he took the penalty at the end. And I appreciate a lot of people say, "I'll give it to Dowman. Let the 15-year-old take it." Nah. I'm all for Gyökeres taking this. This is your main striker for the season. You want him as confident as you can get him as soon as you can. And that's what they've done. They've given the ball to him. He's popped in the back of the net to make it 5-0. Get his second. He'll be oozing confidence. Next game, which is Liverpool as well, a difficult game. But the difference between Gyökeres at kick-off and full-time against Leeds will be worlds apart, in my opinion. He's had his moment now. He's scored at Emirates twice. Did his little stupid celebration thing. I'm not going to do it. I don't like it. I was debating doing it. What was it? That thing? Anyway, he's confident. Man U next week. Sesko starts. Not confident. He hasn't scored yet. He hasn't even started yet. Massive different treatments to the two sort of big strikers at those two big clubs. And after 2 games, one of them is still on the bench. The other one's just bagged a couple of goals and he'll have his chest puffed out next week. Good management by Arteta. Bournemouth beat Wolves 1-0. A lot of huff and puff from Wolves. I don't think it was that bad. I've seen Wolves fans a little bit worried about relegation. I think there's a lack of transfer window activity playing into that one. And I think they were causing problems. Munetsi should have scored early on but blazed it over. And I thought it was quite an even match, even when there's down to 10 men. Now, from the red card onwards, Bournemouth were the better team. Bournemouth were trying to get that second goal. Should have done. Semenyo should have scored at least a couple. But, good win for Bournemouth. Wolves, I don't know, it's a bit of a difficult one to... I've watched both the games so far. And both games are very similar, which was they worked hard. They just weren't good enough. So I guess on one hand, you could say that's all right, the results will come. But on the other hand, if you're getting most of the stuff right, but still losing, it's a bit worrying. They play us in the Cup on Tuesday, that'd be interesting. I don't know who Wolves have got in the league next weekend, but next weekend feels like it could be an important game for a lot of clubs and a lot of managers, just for mood and morale going into the international break. And I think Wolves are certainly one of them. Bournemouth, I think, deserve to win. But I wouldn't say it was a bad performance by Wolves, personally. Brentford 1, Aston Villa 0. Now, I didn't watch this game. I watched all the games so far. Didn't watch this one. Big win, good win for Brentford. I thought Villa would win. I captained Ollie Watkins in my FPL. I'm crap at FPL, though, so that doesn't really mean anything. But Tara got his goal. That's important. I still think the price tag is chunky, but I go back to my Sesko and Gyökeres commentary. He needed that. He's gone in there. A lot of pressure on him. It's not his fault. He didn't decide how much Brentford pay for him. But over 40 million, come on then. Let's see what you're made of. And he's gone and got a goal already. By the way, that second goal, that stands for me. Damsgaard, fantastic finish. Emi Martinez, do one, mate. That's barely did anything. Barely touched him. I'm not having that. That goal shouldn't have been ruled out. If I was a Brentford fan, I'd have been fuming with that one. As a Villa fan, didn't watch the games. I can't comment too much, but they were certainly limp against Newcastle. Getting beat away to Brentford, that won't be part of the plans. Don't know. I need to take in another Villa game soon. Burnley 2, Sunderland 0. Fantastic result. Fantastic result for Burnley. Bringing Sunderland fans back down to earth with a bump. I think I'd imagine all week they were dreaming of beating Burnley and having 6 points after 2 games after bumping West Ham. And they should have been dreaming of that. Quite right. But they've to be fair, I think Sunderland started the game well by the looks of it. I've only watched the highlights of this game as well. But it looked like they started relatively well. And Josh Cullen scored a brilliant goal. That disallowed goal, Foster was a disallowed goal, in my opinion. That was a foul. Cullen, smart finish. Anthony, smart finish as well. But that's a huge result for Burnley. It gives them a bit of belief. Had Burnley lost that game on Saturday, don't know, I think it's difficult to encourage your fans. Say, don't worry, we'll be all right. We're going to stay up. Because I'd imagine they know it's going to be a difficult gig anyway, staying up. But if they were to lose at home to Sunderland, I think it would be tough to feel optimistic. But they beat Sunderland now. So I think they can go away going, do you know what? When we play West Ham, when we play Leeds, when we play insert other team at Turf Moor, we can beat them. Because they've got belief now. They've got evidence now. For Sunderland, that's a bad result. Good result, though, for Burnley. And it finished Everton 2, Brighton 0. I'm pleased. I got a couple of Everton friends. I like Everton. First game in the new stadium, you only get one shot at that, don't you? And I thought Brighton was a difficult opposition for them. But Grealish, I'm happy. I'm pleased for him. I've made no secret of my sort of. I like him. I like him a lot. So when it came up on, I was watching the Palace Forest game, and it came up in the screen, like the goal, and you seen Grealish doing the assist. I was pleased. Now he got the second assist, but I think we're being kind. It is an assist, but like when Juve got the assist for Paqueta's goal, it's an assist, but it's all in the finish, isn't it? It's all in the finish. Not like the Callum Hudson-Odoi's goal for Nottingham Forest. Great finish, but that pass from Murillo, that assist, oh, beautiful. Like Richarlison's ball to Brennan Johnson, which, by the way, that was brilliant. The way, because it was behind him, he had to just hold his run. And it was a very difficult chance for Johnson, but he made it look easy. But anyway, Everton 2, Brighton 0. Welbeck with a piss-poor pen. I've seen a lot of Brighton fans complaining about his performance yesterday too. But anyway, there you go. That's it. Only one thing left now. My team of the week. Now, for anyone that's new, I do it by the players I've watched. So I can't include Everton, Brighton, Burnley, Sunderland, Brentford, Villa. I didn't watch those games, so I'm not going to include them. One of my pet hates is when a pundit or a journalist will put in players they've clearly not watched. Someone might play crap all game, get a goal, and they're in the team of the week, and I'm thinking, you've clearly not watched the game, have you? You've seen he scored a goal and thought, that'll do, stick him in. Anyway, but I am breaking my own rules. I'm breaking my own rules. It's my rules. I can do what I want. In goal, I've gone with Vicario. It's Vicaria. Why is my brain gone into meltdown? The Spurs keeper. Vicaria. I'm going to go with Vicaria. It feels right. A couple of big saves early doors from Marmouche. Important saves as well. I thought he looked really comfortable. Can sometimes be a little bit suspect at crosses and stuff. I thought he had a really good game. I don't think he put a foot wrong. A dodgy pass to Mickey van der Ven at one point, but I thought he and the defence recovered well from it. So I'm going to put him in goal. Right back, I'm going to go with Timber. You kind of have to, haven't you? It's not just his 2 goals and his assist, but I thought he had a really good game. Senesi, centre-back. Bournemouth centre-back. I thought he had a great game. I thought when Bournemouth under the cosh from Wolves, I thought he was the one the ball was sort of like a magnet to him. I thought he was cleaving everything, heading everything. I was really impressed by his performance at the back. And I'm going to put Lacroix next to him. Thought he had a good game against Forest. A couple of clever fouls to concede as well on the halfway line when Forest looked like they could break. I like players that can do that. I'm going to go Calafiori, left back. Tempted to do Spence. I'll go Calafiori. I think the way he plays is... I admire it a lot, the way he just does his runs. When you look at Gyökeres's first goal, that run Calafiori, I mean, he plays the pass, but the run he makes is fantastic. It just drags Leeds defenders out of the way and gives that space. It's a very unselfish run. I rate players that can not only do that, but actually do it. Players that can read the game that well, I'm a big fan of. In midfield, I'm going to go with Palhinha. Thought he was insane at the Etihad. I thought he was breaking everything up. The talent, listen, Man City have got a load of talent in that area. Cherky, Reinders, Marmouche comes inside a lot. I thought he coped with every single one of them. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Plus, he got his goal. I'm going to go Lukic. Thought he was fantastic against Man United. Very clever footballer. The way that he gets forward, the way he breaks up play, the way that he commits his fouls as well. I thought he had a really good game against Man U. And then this is where I'm breaking my rules. I'm putting Josh Cullen in because, ex-West Ham. Scored a goal, captain decide to an important win. I'm putting him in. Didn't watch him, but I'm putting him in there because I can. Tavernier, good goal, but I thought he had a really good all-round performance. Under a bit of pressure now because I thought when Adley came on, I thought he looked really good. Kluivert's back from injury now, so there's a bit of competition for spaces in that Bournemouth team, but I thought he had a really good game. Jack Grealish on the left, breaking my rules again because I can. And up front, I'm going to go with Pedro. A couple of goals, assist. He played well. We couldn't handle him. We didn't really even try and handle him. That's the problem. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Don't be shy. Get involved in the comments below. Anything you want to talk about from the Premier League weekend, get involved. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be back later on to have a catch up with you all, have a little chit chat, and I'll see you there.